KUFM News. Concise, precise, balanced, unbiased.
We are live from Benin City to the world. This is 92.7 KUFM News Dawn.
It's 6:45. Good morning and welcome to News Dawn on KU 92.7 FM Benin City. First, the headlines. Professor Utomi inaugurates project in Kufm. Northern Christians rescind decision to pull out of Khan. AIGBE promises less taxation if elected. In sports, Kenya Olympic officials in court over Rio scandal.
And on business, external reserves rise as offshore investors stake $327 million on bonds.
Details of this and more after this break. I am Augustus AIGBE. The founder of the Center for Value in Leadership, Professor Pat Utomi, has described the current financial crisis in Nigeria as a golden opportunity for the country to reposition its economy. He also said that the continuous fall in the price of oil would make the country realize its worth in agriculture. Professor Utomi spoke on Monday at the groundbreaking ceremony of the integrated produce city in the Kufm community of your northeast local government area of Edo State. Present at the event were Governor Adams Oshiomhole of Edo State, the chairman of the state economic team and governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Godwin Obaseki, the commissioner for agriculture, Prince Chris Okoje, and some members of the State House of Assembly from the area. Utomi, who is also the chairman of the Produce City, explained that a competitively driven industrial policy in select value chains would be helpful in confronting the misery index and bring hope to millions. Elsewhere, ahead of the September 10, 2016 governorship election in Edo State, the flag bearer of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, Osaro Onaiwu, has promised that his administration will ensure less taxation as well as disband touts, popularly called AIGBE, within the state. The governorship candidate, who made the promise on Monday while on a morning bus ride with co-passengers in the popular Comrade bus in Benin City, said the need to feel the pulse of the people to enable him address their needs promptly, if given the mandate as a Edo State governor, prompted him to go on the ride. Onaiwu said the party, AIGBE, has a well-structured and implementable manifesto that centers on employment, agriculture, empowerment, trade, and commerce, as well as infrastructure. The former Director General of the Nigeria Governors Forum and Special Advisor to former Governor Samuel Ogbemudia of the defunct Benel State appealed to all eligible voters in the coming election to vote AIGBE for good governance, accountability, and progress. Onaiwu, while calling on the electorate to give him the chance to prove good governance, promised not to disappoint Edo people he voted in as governor. In other reports, the Director General, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Muda Yusuf, has advised the Central Bank of Nigeria to be careful of the likely effects of its policies, actions, and pronouncements. Yusuf, in a statement in Lagos on Monday, said CBN's policies, actions, and pronouncements could have serious effects on the foreign exchange market. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry Director General, who spoke against the backdrop of recent decisions by the Apex Bank, said Nigeria's foreign exchange is highly sensitive to the developments in the economy. He advised that new policies should be implemented in many ways to minimize their harsh effects on investors and the larger economy. The Northern chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, has withdrawn its decision to pull out of the association as it promised to work with the Ayokunle-led national leadership. This is coming after several weeks of disputes arising from the election of Dr. Supo Ayokunle as president of the association. The conclusion was contained in a communique issued at the end of its meeting in Jos, which was attended by delegates from all the 19 northern states and the Federal Capital Territory FCT Abuja, and signed by CAN Northern Chairman Dr. Yakubu Pam and Public Relations Officer Joseph Hayab. Elsewhere, lawyers in Lagos have extended support to the federal government's reform on the criminal justice system, barring the police from prosecuting criminal cases in the country. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, had on August 25th stripped the police of the power to prosecute criminal cases. According to the Attorney General, the action was in line with the provisions of Section 106 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015. Malami said the section had transferred to the Federal Ministry of Justice the responsibility of prosecuting all criminal matters as part of reforms of the justice system. One of the lawyers, Joseph Alabi, expressed hope that under the reform, justice would be dispensed fairly when lawyers start prosecuting criminal cases. The Nigerian Bar Association (NBA) has urged the federal government to adequately fund university education in the country. This is contained in a communique read by its outgoing president, Augustine Alege, at the end of his annual conference in Port Harcourt. The association noted that education was central to human capital development in any country, just as it was imperative to properly equip the military. Alege further urged the government to also equip the military to enable it to face the insurgency confronting the nation. Over now to Ekiti State, Governor Ayodele Fayose has signed the Ekiti State Open Grazing Prohibition Bill into law. Governor Fayose appended his signature in the presence of over 3,000 traditional chiefs in Ado Ekiti on Monday afternoon. Under the law, headsmen are forbidden from carrying arms and movement of cows and other animals from one location to another. The law also prescribes 6 months imprisonment without option of fine for any headsman who violates the grazing prohibition, while any headsman found with arms will be charged with terrorism. Moving on, a federal high court in Abuja has declined the application of the leader of the Shia movement in Nigeria, Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, seeking his immediate release from detention by the Department of State Services (DSS). The vacation judge, Justice Okona Banku, declined the application, said Zaki ought to have obtained a leave of court for the matter to be heard during vacation. He explained that the applicant failed to serve the DSS, the Inspector General of Police, and the Attorney General of the Federation joined as respondents. Justice Abang therefore said the application was not competent, thereby striking out the application. Residents of Sheki 2 and others close to Kuje prisons were Monday thrown into confusion following an attempted jailbreak in the facility. The incident, which began in the morning, saw soldiers, prison personnel, and other security operatives shooting sporadically into the air to ward off external attacks or tear gassing the prison cells. The Comptroller of Prisons Federal Capital Territory FCT Command, Daniel Odaro, who spoke with newsmen, explained that the measures taken were to forestall any ugly incident, especially given the fact that there was a recent jailbreak in the same prison in which 6 inmates escaped. There were also jailbreaks in Enugu, Ebonyi, and Kogi a few weeks ago. Up next is business and sports right after this break. Stay with us. You're still on to News Dawn on KU 92.7 FM Benin City. Over now to our business desk where CHRISTABEL OTOBO is waiting. Good morning, CHRISTABEL.
Good morning, Augustus. Nigeria's external reserves, which have reduced for about 2 months, rose by $595 million in just 5 days to $26.196 billion Monday, representing an increase of 2.26%. The development was attributed to the inflow of funds into the country's fixed income market, even as there has been renewed interest by both foreign and local investors in the fixed income market, given the attractive yields. This was largely influenced by a single $270 million transaction at 345 naira per dollar by an investor which bought 11 months treasury bills on behalf of offshore investors, while other transactions were carried out between 314 to 314.50 to 317.34 naira to the dollar. The Chief Executive Officer of FMDQ OTC Security Exchange, Bola Onadele, disclosed that the foreign exchange market also registered $327 million worth of trades on Monday, which is about 6 times more than its usual volume. Average trading is around $50 million a day on normal days, but might reach $100 million on days the Central Bank of Nigeria intervenes in the currency market. And now for a quick look at the official exchange rates between the naira and some major currencies around the world. The US dollars now sells for 315 naira 55 kobo, while the British pounds sells for 412 naira 54 kobo. The euro goes for 352 naira 40 kobo, while 1 Japanese yen is 1 naira 59 kobo, and the South African rand sells for 21 naira 23 kobo. The Canadian dollar exchanges for 241 naira 55 kobo, while the Australian dollar sells for 238 naira 58 kobo, and the Dubai dirham sells for 93 naira 25 kobo. And that's it on business news for this morning. I am CHRISTABEL. OTOBO, back to you, Augustus.
Many thanks, Christabel. And now for some sports stories. Two Kenyan Olympic officials have been granted bail after appearing in court over alleged mismanagement of the national team at the Rio 2016 Olympics. The Secretary General of the National Olympics Committee of Kenya, Francis Paul, Vice Chairman Pius Ocheng, and a third man, Stephen Soa, are being investigated for theft, abuse of office, and neglect of duty. The officials, who have made no comment, are blamed for a series of problems facing Kenyan's athletes. A bail for Paul and Ocheng was set at $2,000, while Soe had already been released from police custody for medical reasons, and his bail will be set on Wednesday. The charges against them have not been finalized, and the police have a further 21 days to investigate before the men next appear in court. Over now to some more sports stories. Defending champion and world number 1 Novak Djokovic began his US Open campaign with a victory over Poland's Jerzy Janowicz. The Serb, who struggled with a wrist injury, won 6-3, 5-7, 6-2, 6-1 after calling the trainer in the first set, while Spanish fourth seed Rafael Nadal beat Uzbekistan's Denis Istomin 6-1, 6-4, 6-2 to advance to the second round. There was an early shock in the men's draw as Britain's Kyle Edmund, who is currently ranked 84th in the world, upset French 13th seed Richard Gasquet 6-2, 6-2, 6-3, while American John Isner, seeded 20th, came back from 2 sets down to beat 18-year-old compatriot Francis Tiafoe 3-6, 4-6, 7-6, 7-5, 6-2, 7-6, 7-3. In the women's singles, Olympic champion Monica Piog, who won gold in Rio, was beaten in her first match 6-4, 6-2 by China's Zheng Sensei, while third seed Gabay Muguruza of Spain avoided an upset as she fought back to beat Belgian Elise Mertens 2-6, 6-love, 6-3 to progress to the second round. And that's the news, but before we go, a quick recap of the headlines. Professor Utomi inaugurates project in Ugbokun. Northern Christians rescind decision to pull out of Cannes. AIGBE promises less taxation if elected. Do remember that the continued unity of Nigeria is a collective responsibility. Be sure to play your part. KUFM News Zone was produced by Eniola Awokoya. I am Augustus AIGBE, saying thanks for listening. Good morning.
Nigeria.